World War III or the equal money system? Your choice. Part 2. I'd say there's no choice. But let's look at this video from Secret Truth 2012.
Major uprisings. Today, just today, folks, we had Jordan. And if you guys don't know what Jordan is, it's right near Saudi Arabia, guys. Right on top. Jordan. Syria, major uprisings. People are getting killed left and right over there. Major uprisings, and the government is just shooting them down with live fire. Syria. Okay. Bahrain. Bahrain over here, guys. It's a small little island over here. Bahrain. Look at this, guys. Just take a look at that map. Look at that. Now, the only country that we are not involved in right now, yet, I'll put the check marks on them. There aren't too many. Okay? We have Saudi Arabia, which is still good. And we still have Iran, which we haven't gone to war yet with. But those are the only two countries right now. Unbelievable, guys. What I just showed you. We are looking at World War III. And
Let's look at what's happening in Saudi Arabia.
Still losing Libyan, obviously, production there. We've already seen the markets weather that storm. But when you start to talk about Saudi Arabia, this is huge news. The fact that Saudi Arabian government is now shooting at their own protesters or shooting at their own people. This could cause an uproar. Saudi Arabia, obviously the biggest producer over there. When we were fearing Libya, that was 14th on the OPEC list. But Eric, the bottom line is when we start talking about tapping the strategic petroleum reserves, President Obama throwing this around, this is a political move. That is not the intended reason or the intention of the SPR. The SPR is there if we get a supply shock or if we get a disruption in production or if their supplies are short, then we go tap into that. We have plentiful supplies at this very moment, short term. Longer term, drill baby drill, but you don't tap the SPR as a political maneuver or just out of fear.
John, the former Shell Oil CEO, what do you think of tapping the SPR?
Well, it's completely a useless activity. I agree it would be a political move and a political move only. All the refineries that are near the Strategic Petroleum Reserve have plenty of crude oil. And it's not just in storage, it's coming in. We have more crude oil today in the United States than we actually need. Inventories are pretty high. So who would take the oil? Nobody would need it. The only way they would take it is if it was heavily discounted, which means that the taxpayers would end up subsidizing the oil from the petroleum reserve to give to the refiners. It's just an unpalatable situation.
Gerald Slanty, we're going to leave the segment with you. Last words. What's the most important country over there in the Middle East? If this spreads, you're predicting to spread throughout the summer, what do we have to fear the most?
Oh, Saudi Arabia, there's no question about it, as all the oil experts know. And what else we also have to look at here is that this is really the beginning of the first great war of the 21st century. This is not a one-off. It's not about Libya. It's not about Yemen. It's not about Egypt. It's about the global Ponzi scheme collapsing. And it's going to be much bigger. And when we talk about oil in the U.S., let's not forget, it's Europe also. Where are they getting their oil from? A lot of it from Libya.
All right, we're going to...
Okay, now let's look at the stock market.
Consecutive loss. It says stocks fell Wednesday with the Dow and S&P ending lower for a sixth consecutive session as investors remain concerned about signs of an economic slowdown.
Let's look at the horrors of world wars. These are the problems of the current system. Let's look at the solution, a new system, the equal money system. Here is the equal money system website, www.equalmoney.org. Here you can find videos, articles, blogs, forum, and you can purchase the book. Let's look at some articles. We were reading companies in the equal money system in part 1. So let's continue reading. So we're on number 2. Let's look at this. This is written by Estini DeWet on the 8th of January 2010. So we're on part 2. How are people employed? In our current system, our children are schooled methodically and are thus prepared to enter into our societies with certain skills. I found my base programming or schooling to be effective for entering society's workforce. However, the specific subjects that I was taught was ineffectual for use after school. Hence, one would say that I did not have effective, useful training at school to utilize when entering society. For the sake of this document on companies in the new system, we will presume that students have been effectively trained. Please refer to education in the new system for this part. Currently, within the workforce, between employees, one will find a level of competition as well as a level of rivalry. Our emotional responses towards one another is based on power and the competition to have dominance. This is an exact duplication of the system that we have in place at the current moment, power and dominance through ownership. It is thus common sense to see that removing ownership will elevate this social pressure and thus also change the dynamics within the social structure of employees within a company. Employees are employed either because they have the skill that is required for the job or because they can obtain the skills that is required for the job. In our current system, people go or search for a job where they believe they can earn the most amount of money and security. Our system of greed and fear. It creates a society that is cutthroat, and one fears when we will be the next victim whose throat will be cut. In a new system, one will participate within the entertainment system through what one finds that one is effective in doing or developing skills that one sees that one can improve on. The children of this society will not know greed in the form of ownership and harm in name of companies. How will this workforce be motivated? Initially, the older generation that remembers the capitalistic system requires motivation because all that they know is I must work to get what I want. And this is exactly the reward system that is in place. Work and one obtains labors with a symbol with which to purchase one's desired goods. As the generations start to forget about the capitalistic system that was in place, the newer generations will emerge with a different motivation, a motivation of getting involved in companies where their skills are fine-tuned. And when I say skills, I am referring to something that the individual has found to enjoy about themselves in expression. Work in the new society is thus not based in fear of survival, but in the development of personal skills with rewards associated with it. This is the end of part 2. We will continue on to part 3. But before that, let me show you this.
You know, I'm participating in this equality movement, and I give my one vote to equality. If I was to vote for anything,
Please visit www.equalmoney.org.